Hey, out there and rambling about Racing Nation, Matt Beamer here alongside Charlie Hercus and Austin Reeves, bringing you another episode of Rambling About Racing. Let's just go ahead and get into it. This is a production. I totally messed up again. This is a production of ITM Media. Yes, we are here live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube again, bringing you to another episode of Rambling About Racing. As I said, Matt Beamer here, Charlie Hercus, Austin Reeves as always, and gentlemen, Preston Lood is here. Surprise. Just celebrating coming off of his 30th birthday, by the way. So happy birthday, Preston. I got you guys all on the pre-show. But yeah, Preston's finally joining us. How's it going, guys? It's so quiet now.
It's going.
Thank you for breaking the silence there, Preston. But how's it going?
I don't know if anybody was going to talk first or not.
I mean, yeah, you can talk first, man. What's going on?
Talk first.
You can always talk first. What's going on, buddy? Happy birthday. Happy belated 30th birthday there for you.
Thank you. But I don't feel much different. I feel worse.
I mean, Charlie and Austin is sitting there on their phone. To be fair, they're tweeting out the episode now. And welcome to everybody that's joining us here live on your social media platforms. And this could definitely be caught here afterwards, coming Thursday on your regular podcast platform. But Preston, how's it going, man? Happy birthday. Glad to have you back in the studio.
It feels good, I guess. I'm telling you, ever since I've gotten up on Saturday morning, everything is just, it's been like downhill.
What do you mean? I mean, you just hit 30, so what do you mean?
I'm on the downhill. This is it.
No,
this is it.
I feel like I hit my stride.
30 is it. Like it all went downhill for me when I turned 30.
Exactly. I woke up with back pain. I was tired. I was like, this is 30. This is it.
Well, you also were bowling. We went to a...
Yeah, but I woke up with back pain that morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that morning.
See what you have to look forward to, Austin, when you turn 30?
Austin still got like 10 years.
Yeah, he's still got like 10 years to go. But how's it going, gentlemen? How's it going there in South Alabama for you and Austin there?
It's going pretty good. Would have been on earlier, but I'm playing some church league softball right now. So had a good fourth. Great weekend. I went and watched a lot of fireworks. So pretty good weekend overall until about 10 o'clock yesterday morning when my eye decided to either pop a blood vessel or something. I don't know, but I wound up in the ER last night trying to get something figured out and get some medicine for it. But at one point, it was almost swole shut. So what you're seeing now is 10 times better than what it was this time yesterday for sure. So other than that, just prepping for another race this weekend, and nice. We'll see what happens. So,
yeah, happy belated 4th of July to everyone. Hope it was a good one. Unfortunately for me, I had to work, and it was the second year in a row of me working on 4th of July. I swear if I have to work next year, 4th of July, I might just say I quit.
I bet you don't.
You won't.
I won't, but
I bet $20 you won't quit.
Yeah, bet Caroline break that foot off in his butt.
Yeah, that might happen more so than you think. I mean, you're probably right there. But Austin, how's it going with you, man? How's the wife coming along with the pregnancy? How's everything going up there?
It's going good. She's feeling a little under the weather this week. I don't know if she got sick or what she's got. She's laid up in the bed, but everything's going good. We had a good fourth. Spent 3 days at the lake. Other than that, everything's going good.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that. I hope everything's going well out there for everybody listening to Rambling About Late Racing, whether you're watching us now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or if you're on your regular podcast platform, Burns Radio. Really do appreciate you guys taking the time to show up here and be a part of the show with us. And I do have some big news coming out of here. It is official on the 23rd of July of this month here in the next few weeks. Caroline and I will be down there in South Alabama. So if you're there watching the races in South Alabama Speedway, we're going to go support Charlie. We're also going to bring the camera, microphone, get ready. It's going to be a fun night of interviews, and you might just get asked to be on the show. And we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. Preston, would you like to go to South Alabama with us that weekend?
I've got too much going on.
Okay. Well, I'm
a very busy person these days.
You are, man. So tell us what else happened with you. I mean, I know you couldn't show up here last week and the week before. I mean, I think a lot of them were on C shift, but something else happened that was just spelled out bad luck for you. You said something about the AC was out.
Oh yeah, my AC is out. Actually, it doesn't work anymore. It
crap to bed, huh?
Yeah.
And you said something about having a second job, man. Is that so?
No. I mean, I still work with my dad part time, but
okay.
I mean,
it counts. I mean, do you get paid? Do you get paid doing it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. That's a second job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I guess I'm technically trying to find a third job.
Okay. Well, hopefully my business gets started up here fast, and you can be a part of B.U.R.N Auto Detailing.
Sure.
We're starting to get a few clients here and there, but it's not a lot right now. Pretty much here soon. I hope to rename the IT media studio the B.U.R.N Auto Detailing Studio.
And I don't know. It's been ITM so far, or so long now that can you change it? I mean,
if B.U.R.N Auto Detailing sponsors it,
yeah.
I guess we can technically have that happen. If you want to be technical in that whole situation, yeah, I could technically happen.
Money from your left pocket to your right pocket, I guess.
Actually, yeah, money to the left pocket to the right pocket, and then out back into the big circle of things.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
it's a big pot of money.
I'm hoping it is a big pot of money coming up here. I mean, it's slowly.
Me too. You know how expensive race fuel is getting.
Yeah, well, rambling about racing, if it does happen, we'll definitely sponsor your race team and at least buy you a set of tires so you have an extra set. That's what I'm hoping for. But
we need to save about $650.
Maybe racing fuel. I'll buy the racing fuel.
Yeah, it goes. No, man, I'm looking forward to you and Caroline getting down here for the weekend. That weekend, I get to hug on my niece a little bit. Finally get to hold her for the first time. Man. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. Austin, you're still going to get a spot that weekend because Matt's going to be doing a lot of the filming and stuff like that. We'll still give him a headset if he wants one, but
yeah,
you're still your contract states that I have to let you spot that weekend. So.
The plan is to have Caroline and I followed Charlie through a typical race weekend, probably just when you get to the track and to when you unload, probably get there a little later at night when you start practicing and stuff. But just to kind of get a feel for what you go through during the race week and follow you throughout the race. Caroline will take the videos and the B footage, and I'll take
Is this supposed to be like a behind the scenes?
Well, that's what I kind of envision it. It's kind of a behind the scenes thing that we could do and put on YouTube and stuff, and then have additional stuff for our Patreons to see what a local short track racer does on a Saturday night or a Friday night around America, and just take a little snapshot there, and then maybe go up to Florence and do the same thing, and Dillon Motor Speedway and do the same thing, just to kind of get an idea and put themselves out there more. I feel like that, like we heard last week with oh my gosh, Jeremy, who came on and said, those guys need love too. We always talk about NASCAR, Formula One, Indy. We talk about the big three here on the show a lot. We don't give much love to the local short tracks, and I feel like that's a good way to branch into that. So we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But it's glad to have Preston here finally. It's glad to have Charlie and Austin here, and we'll just get into it. We'll just go ahead and start off with our question of the week last week, which was from Austin, and it was saying, and he asked if anybody here thinks that Justin Allgaier will eventually go full-time Cup racing. And Austin, since it was your question, we'll start off with you.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I know the broadcast booth asked it, and they thought he, if the right opportunity presented itself, that he would. But I think he's going to hang out in Xfinity Series, kind of like Elliott Sadler was, and just ride that train till it collapses and then retire.
All right, Charlie, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. He's ran Cup Series before. Didn't quite work out, didn't quite pan out. So I think he's found a home with Junior Motorsports, and I believe that's where he'll he'll finish his career out with Junior Motorsports and running that 7 car.
All right, and Preston, what do you think? Do you think Justin Allgaier will make the jump to Cup full time or
No.
stay there in the
Xfinity Series?
Yeah. I'm pretty much with everybody there. He found his home in the Xfinity Series, even though we're hearing whispers of Junior Motorsports possibly going Cup Series racing.
But I feel like we all know that would most likely be with
Probably
Noah Gragson.
Noah Gragson, a amer, and that kind of throws a wrench into Hendrick Motorsports pipeline, I feel.
Does it? I mean, because you got 4 people at Hendrick Motorsports right now that are super young. I mean, Kyle Larson's got a long time before he retires, I feel. Elliott, same way. And then B.U.R.N. and Bowman. Both of them aren't going anywhere anytime soon. I feel like if anybody goes anywhere, it would be Bowman.
I don't know if Bowman will go anywhere. He's got a lot of potential there in the Cup Series. I don't feel like he's going to go anywhere anytime soon. If he does go anywhere,
He'll be the first to go.
No, not at all.
I think he will.
I mean, you got B.U.R.N. there, Elliott,
Kyle Larson,
Bowman, and Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson's a proven champ. Elliott's a proven champ. What's William B.U.R.N. really brought to the table?
Give him some time, man.
I mean,
I think Alex Bowman, in my opinion, would be the first to go. But I mean, I don't think that throws a wrench in anybody's pipeline. I mean, you're making it sound like Junior Motorsports and make a jump to Cup and run 4 full-time teams here or something.
We're not saying that. I mean, he'll probably run one, maybe 2 teams, but that's about it. And what's up, Daniel? Thanks for the comment there. But I mean, Daniel was a former colleague of ours there at NTI. In fact, I think he was Charlie's roommate there for a while.
Yeah.
I remember old Daniel. We have a bunch of stories with him, but yeah, I mean, I think Junior Motorsports is going to run 1, maybe 2 Cup teams if they decide to even go Cup Series racing full time. This isn't even set in stone. They don't have a charter, and it's probably going to be 2025 before any decision like that's going to be made in regards to Junior Motorsports. Probably 2024 at the earliest. You think so?
Yeah. 24, maybe.
24, maybe. I mean, that's a big maybe right there.
There's a lot of big maybes in there.
It really is, but. Let us know in the comments what you think. We got 3 watchers right now. So if you think Justin Allgaier will be set up to go to the Cup Series, let us know by commenting in the.
How old is Justin Allgaier?
He's no spring.
He's in his 30s, isn't he? Late 30s.
I feel like he's probably my age, maybe a couple years older.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken. Let's say that.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Hey, let's go ahead and get into this last weekend's races. You guys, I have a feeling since Preston's here, the Formula One guy of the show, we're going to talk a lot about Formula One. So you guys ready to get into this weekend's races, starting off with Formula One?
Yes, let's make it happen.
All right. The Formula One race, the British Grand Prix. It was a very amazing race. I want to get the first impressions of it, starting off with Preston here. Your first impressions of the British Grand Prix for Formula One.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it was one of the best races of the year.
Yeah, one of the best races of the year thus far. And there's been a lot of good races up to this point in Formula One. It hasn't been like one of those seasons where we're just seeing Hamilton win. Although I brought it up a few weeks ago, I'm afraid Max Verstappen is turning into the new Lewis Hamilton of Formula One. But after this last weekend's races, that's not necessarily a true statement.
Well, that the only reason he finished in 7th was because he had damage on the underside of the car. He had Pierre Gasly's something of Pierre Gasly's car stuck in the bottom of the car, so it was throwing the downforce way off.
Right.
That's why Mick Schumacher was challenging him for 7th.
Right, very much so. Hey, what about you and Charlie over there, Austin? Did you guys watch the Formula One race?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was on the edge of my seat for the whole race.
Well, you guys almost ruined it for me because I had my phone and I was in church, and then I just saw bleep bleep. That's one way to start a race. And then bleep bleep. That's at least $1 million in damage. And then what did Preston say? Preston said something and kind of gave it away right here. So
sorry.
Don't be sorry. He gave it away, and
I don't remember what I said.
Something about the driver being okay.
Apparently the Zohan.
Oh, Zhou Guanyu.
On you.
Zhou Guanyu.
Zhou Guanyu is okay. And I said, Well, okay. Now I'm looking through the lineup here at the start of the race when I finally start watching the DVR, and it's like something happens to him very early on into the race there, and that was a spectacular crash. Did you guys happen to watch the video of that from the spectators? From the spectator seat?
Yeah, I saw that one floating around today, and I got to see it, and it's like he's just coming head on at him. So
I mean, holy cow!
You should see how much the halo dug into the asphalt.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the halo. The halo done its job. That's probably the best thing that F1 has done in years, other than the new car period this year, because it's produced a lot of great racing overall, more so than years past. But I feel like after this, that they're going to look back, and the only thing that I didn't like about it, and this is not F1, this is the track, the tires should have been pushed all the way against the fence. I feel that was the only downside to that. I feel like because once it wedged in between the tires and the fence there, I mean, he was stuck there. I mean, there was no getting out. So just on a safety thing from my perspective, I guess tires need to be flush with the wall. There shouldn't be a gap there.
Well, here's my question here, and Formula One's notorious about this. So they threw the red flag, and the same thing happened to Roman Grosjean when he was stuck in the catch fence or the guardrail during the B.U.R.N. accident of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Formula One cut away from there right away. The feed cut away. The FIA said, we're not going to show that because they don't know if the driver's dead or anything, and heaven forbid they show a video of someone dying in replays before they're okay. So notoriously, Formula One said, because the accident happened, they threw the red flag. It's like, well, what happened? It took them about 30 minutes to start showing the initial replays after they found out, and I'm going to use Brian Stone's way of saying a joke on you, it was okay. And I know it's not joke on you. It's just, it's easy to remember now. Thanks, Brian, for that one. But so it took them about 30 minutes, and they find out he was okay, and then they started showing the accident. There was really no clear photo or bit footage of the accident. We all saw him flip live, but that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
So when they finally got it going, it's like I didn't even see it until we saw the spectator's point of view of him hitting the rocks, flipping, and then going up and over, and then getting wedged there between the tire barrier and the catch fence, which I'm glad everything did its job. I'm not seeing any reports of any spectators getting injured whatsoever.
No, the gravel did its job really good too, because let's face it, if it'd have been a whole different story if that was asphalt all the way to or even grass.
Oh yeah,
because grass he'd have picked up speed. So
absolutely
made a huge difference to gravel there. Anybody that doesn't like gravel, should watch this wreck and kind of rethink their theory.
Yeah, there's definitely a point to what they call the kitty litter there, or getting sanded on the beach. I don't like the kitty litter analogy the best. But let me ask you guys this. So Formula One is notorious for not showing the replay of the accident until they confirm the driver is okay, or at least out of the vehicle. We saw it, like we said, with Roman Grosjean, and then we saw it now with
Joe
Grosjean. My gosh, thank you, Preston. I'm glad the Formula One guy is here this week. So, but then going back in 2020, the Daytona 500, when Ryan Newman got in his accident, NASCAR and Fox had no problem showing his accident. None whatsoever.
Right.
And not even knowing if he's okay. 2015, Justin Wilson at Pocono. Nobody had any problem seeing that accident.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Justin Wilson was seriously injured at that point. He wasn't dead at that point. Right. He didn't die at the track. He died later on in the hospital. And we even go further back. We could say 2020 or 2001, Dale Earnhardt's wreck, and they showed multiple views of that, not knowing if he's okay. Should auto racing broadcasters like Fox, NBC, ESPN, and whomever is broadcasting the race, if they can't confirm the driver's okay, should they replay the wreck, or should they do what Formula One does and says we're not showing anything?
I think there's a theory behind that.
Yeah, what is that?
I think when it comes to like NASCAR, since they've come, technically all motorsports have come far in terms of safety, but like, and I'm not a race car driver by any means, but I don't know what the difference is in safety between a stock car and like an open wheel car, because with like IndyCar, those are actually, they have like a windscreen or whatever. It's kind of more closed in, where like open wheel in Formula One, it's just a halo system. That's it.
Which is almost the same
It's
thing.
more dangerous than like a stock car. So like, for example, when stock car racing, like with Ryan Newman's wreck, even though that was a little bit more dangerous per se, because when he flipped over, somebody was driving straight into the roof of the car. I mean, I think when it comes to over here in America, I think when they're showing wrecks like that with NASCAR, you're thinking, oh, there can't really be that much wrong because they're inside of a stock car. Whereas with Formula One, I mean, there can be any kind of things going on. Just because Zhou Guanyu was on the roof and nothing was getting in the car, I mean, you can't tell me that he's getting hit with showered with gravel or parts from other cars are hitting him in the head, because it's just a halo system. That's it. It's open. I feel like Formula One is probably the more dangerous of the motorsports in the world to begin with. I mean, there can be, like we see with Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen last year.
At Italy.
At Italy, where, I mean, Verstappen was on top of Hamilton. I mean, the wheel was literally like coming right across the top of Hamilton's helmet.
Yeah,
like, that's dangerous.
Didn't Total Wolf say there was rubber on his helmet?
Yeah, that's dangerous. We saw in an F2 race this past weekend, actually, at Silverstone. A Red Bull car, I think it was, went off the track at some point, accidentally cut the corner, went over the grass, hit a curb. The car went up in the air, and as somebody was making the turn, they drove straight up the side of him onto the halo. And you saw the halo do its job there, but still a very dangerous situation. So I feel like when it comes to TV broadcast, and as far as Europe goes, they know that it's a dangerous situation in general. It's an open wheel car. It's not like NASCAR, where I feel like maybe productions over here of NASCAR think, oh, it can't be that big of a deal. We can just keep showing it over and over again because they're inside of a car. They're protected. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's where I see it coming from.
Then we saw Justin Wilson when in his accident. We went home and watched a replay of the live event, and you saw the piece of the nose cone hit him in the head.
Right.
And he was transported via
ambulance.
No, via helicopter, to a medical facility where a day later he was pronounced dead. Brian brings up a good point, saying he thinks NASCAR fans has no issues with it because a lot of the fan base, a bit of the fan base, I should say, watches it for the wrecks.
That's very true. Brian is very correct on that. There's actually, I would say not a little bit. I feel like a lot of people.
I feel like
it's
a
weird.
lot of people.
Well, that just, boils back into, if we're getting on that subject, that just goes right into those idiots have no concept of the sport to begin with.
Exactly.
So if that's the case, they can go watch a damn demolition derby somewhere else. So because when you're actually the person or some of the people that put the time and effort into these cars and then bring them to the track,
panels,
and
scratches, dents,
and then you got the idiots in the stands that just show up. Oh well, I'm just here to watch the wrecks. They have no mental concept of what the sport is or what it's about. They're ignorant. And that's just people, that's people nationwide and throughout the country. I mean, if you show up to a motorsports thing and you're only there to see people wreck, go home. Nobody wants you there.
Yep.
What about you, Austin? What do you think about all that?
I mean, I agree. I just think we kind of got complacent with watching wrecks with NASCAR. Like, see him smack the wall. Oh, he's fine. You got the 5-point
harness.
Seat belts. Got the Honda device, the full containment seat, the leg dividers. I don't know what you call them. That run by your leg to the pedals. So I think we've gotten so complacent with seeing hard wrecks that, oh, he's fine. Let's show it. But I didn't even know the car had went between the tire barrier and the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw it flip. Like, oh, well, hey, there's a car flipping. And then red flag came out, and then all I could remember him saying was he's stuck. And then when they finally showed the replay, I was like, oh, he was literally between the tire barrier and the fence. And I was like, well, that kind of shows why they didn't show it then. So I like the way Preston said it. So, I mean, I don't mind watching it. Of course, you really never know. I mean, he could have been dead, could have been alive. So, show it.
When Roman Grosjean wrecked a couple of years ago,
right.
I thought he died right away.
Oh, yeah, we all thought Roman Grosjean was barbecued.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, is that the one that hit the wall head on and the car exploded?
Well,
yeah,
the car split in half and it exploded.
He
but yeah,
basically pierced that entire
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Go back
the
and listen
fence.
to our episode. I forget what number it is, but
It was
Formula One dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Preston and I dive deep into that one here. And Charlie, you got a fan here. Brian hasn't listened to the show in a while, apparently, and he says he likes you.
Well, thank you. I try to keep it as real as possible.
Well, yeah, I mean, so that was the big, really, it didn't really take away from the race. It just kind of slowed it down here.
Slowed it down.
Slowed it down here a little. But the rest of the race, we were expecting, I think everybody here was expecting to see just Verstappen run away with it. The turning point in that race was when he had that puncture at somewhere in the race, somewhere early in the race. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc passed him, and it made a whole different race.
Yeah.
And I got to give it to Perez. He hung in there, and Hamilton gaining the podium. Good on Hamilton. But going back here, the really surprise of the weekend for me, both Haas's in the top 10 in the points, with Magnussen finishing 10th and Mick Schumacher gaining his top Formula One.
His first points ever.
First points ever in Formula One, finishing 8th. Vettel finishing 9th.
That's a big surprise too, because they had an awful qualifying session.
Well, a lot of people, and they did qualify in the rain.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Lance Stroll is very good when it comes to the rain, and he had a big fall off. So, but yeah, I think the two Haas's and Vettel were big surprises. But man, the whole setup for that last restart, when Ocon was having problems with his car, and I was, the broadcast was like, oh, he's only got to go a little bit further to pull it off the track. And then they were like, and he actually stopped on the track. So we are going to get a safety car. And I was like, oh boy.
now let's talk about that for a minute, because he did have a fuel line. He had a fuel issue with the car that prevented his forward progress. And there's really no place for him to go. But he knew about that way before that turn onto the old pit road straight. Do you think Formula One or the FIA should have penalized him or done something to the team in regards to that afterwards? Or do you think what they did was fine? They just threw a safety car. I think
it's fine. I mean, it happens. Sometimes, you never know. Sometimes you actually have to stop the car right then and there. There could have been even bigger problems. They probably told him, hey, you just got to stop the car and turn it off now before we fire or something,
Yeah, y'all said it was a fuel issue, like it was leaking fuel. Yeah, I hate to tell you, if it was leaking fuel, I'd have stopped it wherever I was at that point in time. I mean, there wouldn't have been no trying to nurse it back around the track or get to an exit. I'm done. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
So
yeah, good point there. Okay, but really, that final safety car changed everything, because it brought everybody closer together. It was a lengthy safety car, but it was a long.
The FIA did it the right way. I mean, it's not like Michael Massey from last year who.
You
never know what you were going to get with that.
First of all, Michael made a great call there in the final
in Abu Dhabi.
I loved that call, and I loved his response to Total Wolf there, with him saying, it's auto racing, and I just have to do this for old time's sakes for you.
No, Mikey, Mikey, that was so not right.
I love that. That radio call from Total Wolf is, oh no, Mikey, it's so not right. I'm glad he's eating finally what he deserves there. He is not entitled anymore.
Toto's just as privileged as Lewis Hamilton. I mean, if things don't go their way, they do nothing but cry.
Well, I think all teams do that.
Yeah,
honestly,
I mean, that's all teams.
There were teams complaining about the Red Bull this weekend.
What were they complaining about?
Saying something about they were all messing with like the floor up under the car, which was helping them gain more speed somehow. But like, I don't think anything came to light of it. I think Mercedes and Ferrari were the big pushers on that one.
Yeah, Mercedes, I know, brought new parts to it.
But Mercedes and Red Bull are always trading jabs. They're always looking for something.
They have to, man.
Well, of course,
I mean,
motorsports.
It's auto racing,
exactly.
As Michael would say, as Mikey would say.
Yeah, as Michael Massey would say.
Total Wolf would say, no, but whatever. Total Wolf.
But I think the big problem this weekend was, or the big, talk of the town was when that safety car did come out, why Ferrari decided not to double stack on the pit stop, and they just left Leclerc out there on older tires.
I felt like Leclerc got thrown a bad.
Did you what's the team principal's name for Ferrari? I can't not remember that guy's name. He's got that big fro.
Yeah, he's got
he was giving him a finger wag. after the race was over. You could see it on TV.
I
and
do
they were
remember
like,
that.
whoa,
It's like,
he's getting a good talking to.
You know what he was saying? You were not racing for yourself. You were racing for Ferrari.
The team.
Ferrari means more to anything than you do.
I mean, I can understand if he's upset. He finished fourth still. So he got good points out of it, but I can understand why he'd probably be upset.
But here's the problem with Ferrari. They race as an organization. They don't care if driver one finishes ahead of driver two, with the exception a few years ago, I think it was Hungary or something, or Austria in like 2000, early 2000s, where Barrichello was dominating, and they said, move over to give Michael Schumacher the points. And there at the final lap on the final turn, he moved over, Schumacher won.
Well, that's already happened earlier this year with who I don't remember who it was. They're like, well, hold your position. You know, let him to hell with holding position. I mean, that's where you think Rick Hendrick or Joe Gibbs or anybody's finna come over the radio. Hey, hold your position. Let them win or let them finish ahead of you. No, I'd lose my freaking contract
quite often. I mean,
I could see
it happen
that
anytime,
especially in the current playoff stage setup like we have. If Denny Hamlin's leading, he's not in the championship four. However, his teammate Kyle Busch, for instance, has to win in order to get it. Go, let him pass.
Nah.
I can see that happening in NASCAR.
I can see it happening.
I don't see Charlie Hercus letting me win. Just pull over and let me pass him. I don't see that happening.
Well, you guys aren't also in a points battle either. I mean, when Austin shows up to race, no offense, but you probably show up just to, hey, I'm here. We got a free car.
Give a crap if Austin was going to win the damn championship. You think I'm going to pull over and let him win?
But we got to be real here. You're talking about two different point systems at the same time.
I mean, absolutely.
So that's probably why that happens a lot more in Formula One. They want to keep their driver in it and closer to the whole situation, wherever it may be.
Right. And looking at the points now, Verstappen's still leading. Sergio Perez is in second. Charles Leclerc is in third, and he's drifting further and further back. He's more than 40 points behind Verstappen now. So it's getting to the point now, if they were looking, I feel, to put Leclerc closer to Verstappen, they missed an opportunity. But now Carlos Sainz is catching Leclerc only 9 points back from
Carlos
Leclerc.
Sainz would probably have more points than Leclerc if he didn't have so much bad luck this season.
But I mean,
I'm just gonna throw it out there.
That's auto racing, though.
It is auto racing, but I think Carlos Sainz might be the better driver out of that team.
That's a bold statement.
I'm just calling it how I see it. That guy's had a lot of bad luck, and I think he might be a little bit better. But also, I just wanted to point out one other thing from this past weekend.
Yeah.
After that last safety car, and how everybody in that top, from second to like seventh, how everybody was racing, kind of pushing each other off track. Did you see anybody get any penalties?
No,
you didn't.
No, that was a good point there.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
The FIA was letting them race.
They were.
I mean, they were probably letting them race because
nobody. That's because half the field got wrecked out on the first lap.
Well, no, not only that. I feel like there was no really contact. I mean, I think it was. What's the word I'm looking for? Justifiable in some terms. Now, Verstappen pushing like Schumacher wide on the second to last turn, that's not justifiable because I think Verstappen probably didn't want to finish behind him. But with Perez and Hamilton and Alonso all up in there, that was a good battle.
Leclerc,
I will say, like,
position.
Yeah,
it wasn't anybody was a lap down.
No, but like the way F1 is, though, and I enjoy watching F1, especially this year when the racing seems to be a lot better, a lot closer. The fact that they could get penalized for pushing somebody wide or if we're going to do that's racing case, well, that's racing. Like if you got somebody, like if I know somebody's on my outside and it's the last lap or whatever, or racing period, and we're going into a corner, I'm going to enter my corner a lot higher and make him run even higher to get him loose and whatnot and me maintain my position. So I feel like this whole, he ran him wide and all this, that's racing. I mean.
Well, if that's racing, Charlie, if you run someone up high and you're going in the corner a lot higher than him, why doesn't he just – you run the opportunity and the chance of getting hooked in the right rear?
And also, like – It depends. It depends because if
Right.
if they're like right beside you, sure. Now if somebody's on my bumper trying to get to the outside, no, he doesn't have that position
Right.
or nothing like that. I'm gonna run my regular line.
Okay.
But now if somebody's like side by side, door to door, and we're going into the corner, yeah, I'm going to enter that corner a lot later and a lot harder and a lot higher. And it's going to run them up the track. It's going to make them have to pass me on the outside. So,
I mean,
Okay. That's a good
I'll
point.
throw it out here. Like last year when Hamilton wrecked Verstappen at Cobb's Corner at Silverstone,
Oh yeah.
that should have been a penalty all day long
Well, it
because
was
the
a
driver on
penalty.
the outside going into Cobb's Corner always has the right of way. I've seen it on the game. I trust me. No, I'm telling you, you can't enter a Cobb's Corner at full speed on the inside like that. And Lewis Hamilton knows that.
Well, he did get penalized. Lewis Hamilton got penalized last year for that and still ended up winning the race. So it doesn't matter.
I thought he
didn't-
did get penalized.
No, he did get penalized.
Really?
It just
I
didn't
forgot.
matter last year with Mercedes dominance and everything that they were doing. I mean, they were just so strong
I
last year.
think penalties are justifiable in Formula One because it's just dangerous. It's dangerous. You make contact, that can be a very dangerous thing.
Yeah, you and I
I
have
mean,
talked a lot.
motorsports in general is dangerous, though. I mean,
But it's different with stock cars. I mean, you're beating and banging. This,
Uh-oh, here we go.
I'm just saying.
how's it different? I mean, racing's racing.
When
I'd
you're
love to-
talking about an open wheel car.
Okay,
An open wheel car.
Austin, it's modified. It's not open wheel.
Modified is an open wheel car.
So I don't see where the
Preston-
beating and bang. I get that their bodies and stuff are a lot more fragile, but that's
Are,
F1's fault.
are you
I mean,
saying it's more dangerous because they're the open wheels? You can touch a wheel and flip.
Yeah, you can flip somebody over. I mean, we saw.
Well, plus modifieds, you really see run on short tracks. You don't see these things running 180 miles an hour down the straightaway at Britain or whatever, at Coda or whatever. I mean, you don't see these modified cars.
better go watch the modified race at Pensacola in December. Then
Okay, all I'm saying is the speeds that they're running, they're not running like Formula One cars, like Indy cars. Whereas Preston makes a good point, and he's brought this up on the show before, where he said that if you beat and bang with these open wheel cars, they're going to touch tires and
I'll throw this out there too. I think penalties for running people wide in Formula One is justifiable because in NASCAR they think that road courses they can just drive all the way to the freaking grass and everyone can get away with it. I mean, we see it all. I see it. I mean, Road America's not that big of a deal because it's not that wide of a track. But you're talking about like Coda, for example. NASCAR's running all the They might as well run to the goddamn stands while they're at it and then come back onto the track. There's no track limits in NASCAR. That's the problem. That's why.
define the track limits, because if I'm not mistaken, on all the road courses, if you run through a corner, you have to come to a stop before you can go again. You're going to lose countless positions. So I'm not sure the penalty here.
NASCAR doesn't have track limits.
No, that's only at the carousel at I believe at Watkins Glen, where if you run through it,
Coda had it there too. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's justifiable in Formula One because you're running people off the track. Formula One has track limits. If you put all four tires over that white line, you're going to get a penalty. You're going to get warned, and then you might get a penalty again. With NASCAR, they're running way off the side of the track. I'm telling you, it's just two different things. Just two different sports. That's all it is.
I have missed Preston so much, and it's always so
I don't
much
know
fun.
why I get so heated about it.
I don't know why either, man. We're just having a talk. We're just talking
I
racing,
know, we're
man.
just talking about racing, you know.
And Charlie's sitting here like, what do I have to do to get this guy? And Austin's sitting in the corners like not even talking at all.
You
You gotta stay calm, cool, and collective.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some people don't get it, I guess. So.
Oh, he just called you out there, Preston.
Hey, everybody has their own opinion. We're all entitled to opinion. Hey,
That's why we're here rambling about racing.
Exactly.
That's why he's the Preston's the Formula One guy, and we're all kind of the stock car guys.
Yeah.
So it makes it fun. It makes it fun.
Of course it does.
I kind of feel like, well, in a little off tab thing here, I feel like the producer now because I'm letting you guys just talk and everybody's just doing that. Oh, Austin Reeves. Oh.
Matt's just hanging back. He's like, this is good stuff. This is good.
Your wife just chimed in and said, try being married to him. He's not the conversion. Oh, no.
I like Brian's comment.
Yeah, didn't like him in green pass on the catch fence, and he was.
Oh my god!
By the way, so happy birthday!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's a
pretty fun
solid comment right there.
Hey, Ashton, thanks for inviting us to the birthday party there. Really do appreciate it.
That was a lot of fun.
You know what? And that was a lot of fun. But now that was just Formula One. We've
Yeah.
been talking 40-something minutes or 30-something minutes into this, and we're just only in Formula One.
We're still circle jerking F1. I
No,
mean,
the
we haven't even moved on to anything. All right, we get it. They wrecked. They won. Great.
All right, we'll move on now.
Let's move on.
Did anybody catch the Indy Car race? I didn't catch it.
I didn't even know they were running this weekend, honestly.
Yeah, well, you didn't last in the last.
I didn't. I recorded it, but I hadn't had time to watch it.
Well, Scott McCalling won that race, and my driver that I picked, Will Power, finished third.
Where did they race at?
Mid-Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Mid-Ohio. Jimmy Johnson, I like bringing up Jimmy Johnson here, finished 16th. That's not bad for Jimmy Johnson.
No, because he's been struggling, period, in the IndyCar unless it's an oval.
27 were in the field,
27,
and Connor Daly, who we had on the show, finished 13th. Didn't watch that, but then we switch over to SRX before we get into NASCAR. Ryan Newman winning. I think it was Charlie who called it last week. Did anybody watch the SRX series?
I didn't watch it.
All I watched this weekend was the Formula One race, and then we had stuff going on with church, and I barely watched. I don't like the Road America. I don't like Road America.
I have a lot to say about NASCAR this weekend.
I can't wait to hear it because I boycotted the Xfinity race. I didn't even watch that.
Why'd you boycott that? Because Kyle Larson was in it?
Yeah, because a Cup driver was in. If a Cup driver's in the Truck Series or the Xfinity Series, I won't watch that race. And I'm sure Charlie and Austin, and I think you would probably agree with me on that.
I don't think you're really missing.
I mean, I watched most of it, but it was all, the Larson show and Gibbs show. And like we all know, I'm not a big fan of Gibbs. I mean, Gibbs ended up winning it.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs won.
I'm not really a big fan of him either.
No, we go back to this whole privileged group. He falls right in line with the privileged group.
Well, Brandon, your brother, just said instead of Road America, Board America. It was a boring race.
Thank God.
Here's the thing.
Somebody else called it other than I did.
I watched a little bit of the Road America race. We're switching over to Cup now. I watched a little bit of the Road America race. Didn't really catch it all. But when I caught the highlights, it was a 7-minute video. And the biggest highlight that happened was 2 incidences. One, when Eric Almirola got loose into the corner, and then Kyle Busch spun out as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when Bubba Wallace had an entanglement with Joey Logano. They fast-forwarded through stage 2. They really fast-forwarded it through stage 1. Tyler Reddick finally getting his first career win in the Cup Series. And I got a question for you guys on that one, which I think will take up the other half of the show.
Uh-oh.
But did you guys end up watching the race at all? Because I think we had...
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, they spaced out pretty good. Overall, I thought it was good racing. I mean, there was a lot of battles throughout the field, but you had your 2 or 3 people up front that just checked out from everybody. I am glad that Reddick won it. I mean, I know it was between him and Chase, and I like Chase, but I was definitely pulling for Tyler Reddick on that one. So glad to see him get a win, and I hope that throws more emphasis that he should be the primary car at Richard Childress, because even the commentators, even they said, that it should definitely should that be the primary car, like the primary focus at RCR, because we all know that Austin Dillon is the primary focus. So,
and here's my question for everybody.
Matt's like getting hyped up over here.
When I saw Tyler Reddick won that race, here's my question. Kurt Busch came into 2311 and exposed that team and said, you can win in this equipment.
Yep.
Did Tyler Reddick do the same thing with Richard Childress racing this weekend? Is Austin Dillon to Bubba Wallace as Kurt Busch is to Tyler Reddick?
Austin Dillon's too busy with that new reality.
It's stupid ass.
Oh my God! Yeah.
It's so you haven't even accomplished anything in a Cup Series, and you want your reality. I get it. You won the Daytona 500. You won, Coke 600, whatever. But other than that, you run in the back every freaking race.
I know it.
I love it.
Lord,
I love it.
Pick a decent driver to make a reality show out of. Not one that runs in the back. That'd be like making a movie series out of me and Charlie's racing.
Yeah.
No,
I
no,
mean,
I don't think they should find any kind of driver to make a reality show, because then this is just reminding me of like Talladega Nights, and people are just going to tune in and think, oh, this NASCAR driver is such an idiot. And at the same time, oh, we got to check it out.
This is Austin Dillon's way of saying, the spotlight's not on me anymore in racing. It's on Tyler Reddick, and he knows it. I need to bring the media back to me.
It's true.
Because everybody knows, whether Richard Childress wants to admit it or not, and he never will because it's his grandson, he knows Tyler Reddick is his bread and butter driving for him right now. So
Absolutely.
Ooh, Austin Dillon or Daniel Hamrick? Who would be better?
Daniel Hamrick.
Hamrick all the way.
Okay, there you go,
100%.
then.
Well, when we first started this show, which used to be called In the Marbles,
Yeah.
I used to have weekly stats saying Daniel Hamrick finished again ahead of Austin Dillon. The problem is that Austin Dillon is, for one, the grandson of Richard Childress, so he's automatically got in there. I don't know why he doesn't do the same for Ty Dillon, but that's another episode, I feel. But then when Daniel Hamrick didn't do so well that first season, which I thought, he was a rookie, he did decent. He didn't do horrible. He just did decent his first year in the Cup Series. To bring in Tyler Reddick because he brought in money for the 2020 season, it's just kind of a slap in the face. I mean, and Hamrick ended up winning the championship last year in the Xfinity Series. Not doing so well this year.
That happens. But man, that's pretty good though. You make a good point.
No, I mean, I've always been a big advocate of Daniel Hamrick because of that. And I was so upset when he got bumped from that seat for Tyler Reddick. Yeah, Tyler Reddick won the Xfinity Series championship that year in 2020, and therefore setting himself up for a Cup ride. But to boot out a rookie driver who didn't do so bad in the 2019 series, in the 2019 season, he didn't do so bad as comparison to maybe a Austin Dillon. Go back and listen to the earlier episodes, because I think like episode 1 through 5 or 6 or 8 or 9, that I was just like, Daniel Hamrick deserves to be in that seat.
Right.
And you remember those
Yeah,
episodes?
I do remember. Mm-hmm.
And I was just a big proponent of it. But now we see Tyler Reddick doing well. Austin Dillon finished 31st. He had brake issues, but he finished 31st.
I'll give Austin Dillon this. At least he pulled off the track and didn't bring out a caution to help his teammate out. So
Austin Dillon's average finish this season is 16th.
What's Ty Dillon's? I know he doesn't run full time, but what's his average finish for the races he has raced? I would.
It's 21.222. Or Ty Dillon's average finish, and he's only run 18 races, and I believe that's where we're at right now. That's 18 races, so he's run a full season so far.
What car is he running again?
He's running the GMS. He's
the number 42 for GMS Petty,
yeah.
GMS, whatever.
Eric Jones. Tyler Reddick, though not shining up, not burning up the stat sheets or anything, finally has a win. Average finish of 17th. So Tyler Reddick's finishing worse than Austin Dillon.
Yeah, but he's competing for wins on a more regular basis.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, because Tyler Reddick's been a victim of some stuff that hadn't been his makings and stuff like that. Now he has, he's been out front a couple of races where some tires have blown. Now that is, I'll say it again. That is the team's makings there, but
yeah, you see him. You tend to see him more on TV than you would in Austin Dillon, even though he's got a worse average finish.
Right, you see him more in the box than anything. And just for reference here, Bubba Wallace's average finish is 22nd after 18 races, and his teammate Kurt Busch, who actually didn't do so hot this week, finishing 23rd, has an average finish of 17th. Yeah. So he's kind of in the same camp there as Austin Dillon. No one from those two organizations is taking the stat sheet. No one expects anybody from those two organizations right now to win a championship. They're not a championship caliber team, I feel. That is
not yet. Now I'm glad Kurt Busch got him a win, but they're definitely not where they need to be on a consistency basis to really contend for a championship. Now, when Kurt Busch is running up front, he's just like Tyler Reddick. he is competing for wins, but it's either all or nothing. It seems like.
Right. And now we're seeing these guys. I mean, I feel like, yeah, it's good that Kurt Busch got himself a win for 23-11. It somewhat solidified that is a winning organization. It's good to see Richard Childress back in victory circle with Tyler Reddick getting his first career win.
Yeah. How long has it been since Richard Childress has won a race?
That's a good question. Anybody want to look that up to see?
Yeah, I'll look it up since I asked it.
Last time Richard Childress
I'm
won?
going to say 2 years.
Probably Austin Dillon when he won at Daytona.
Probably Austin Dillon when he won at Daytona. Yeah, in 2018.
Was it 2018?
Yeah.
No, it was 19.
No, was it 2018 or 19?
Was,
no, 2019 was Denny Hamlin. I was at that race.
At the Austin won the 500, didn't he?
Yeah, Austin Dillon won the 500,
okay,
and I think it was 2018 because it was 20 years after Dale Earnhardt won, and of course the 3-car won, and Mike Joy's in there.
Of course, that
20 years later.
That had to make that, of course, you can't.
I'm right there with y'all. Like, stop. Just who gives a shit? Okay, like we're done. But what really bothered me more than anything that night was after Austin Dillon won. He's like, yeah, so we had one little fan give something, and I put it in the car, and I'm like, really?
It was a penny that was on heads, and a little kid gave it to him.
Like, and he just completely, in my book, mocked, what happened when Senior won it.
They gotta sell that 3, dude. They gotta sell it.
I mean, golly, I don't know. That's what made me. That's what made me mad about that race.
Here's my question: If Charlie were to pick up a penny and go to Austin Dillon to go, hey, I found this, you're gonna win.
Austin Dillon would smack that right out of his hand. Get that out of here.
Would Austin Dillon be in victory lane saying, yeah, this fan, I think he had special needs?
He would. He would completely milk it. He'd be like, hey, my little special needs, my Make-A-Wish friend gave me this penny. And then I'd embarrass him on the front stretch too, because I'd completely act a fool by, I can't believe you won because of my penny and yada yada yada.
This drunk redneck holding a bush light handed me a penny.
I'd straight up whip it.
Say good luck.
I'd straight up whip it out and pee on him on the front straightaway, just by he didn't know no better. He just goes when he goes.
Austin will be as a handler there and just be like, oh no, I'm sorry.
Like a little service dog, have my patches on. Charlie's helper.
Austin,
I'll get Austin one of them little monkey backpacks that's got the leash attached to it and tie it around my hand. Like, Austin, come here. Like, don't run off.
Hey, Preston, you sure you don't want to go to Talladega with us? I think you're missing a great opportunity, and it'll save me, Charlie, and Austin some money here if you go and do that. That'd be a lot of fun. By the way, Brian Stone says lay off at 23-11. Why do you think he says that? Or I'm going to ask him. Why do you? Hey, Brian, let us know why you want us to lay off at 23-11.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like 23-11. I love Kurt Busch. I've always been a fan of Kurt Busch. I like him. I like what he brings to the sport. I just feel like whenever they brought Kurt Busch on and then he goes out there and wins, it definitely, just like Tyler Reddick winning this past weekend, it's exposed some flaws in the system. And I'll go one step further. Christopher Bell and Bubba Wallace, they're making pit crew swaps from after this last race.
Yep, I was gonna bring that up right now. Bubba Wallace's pit crew is going to be exchanged for.
And it's not even everybody; it's just certain people.
It's interesting.
But what does everybody think of that? Because those are two separate organizations. There'll be a Toyota race, and there'll be a Joe Gibbs affiliate. I mean, that isn't like we talked about a few weeks ago with the NASCAR iceberg, where Jimmy switched pit crews with Jeff Gordon's pit crew. It's
still two completely different organizations.
Right. I mean, is that? I feel like that's.
I don't like it because you got Christopher Bell that's actually in the hunt to make the playoffs, and just because Bubba Wallace gets butthurt about his about some pit crews and stuff like that, oh well, we got to make a change. We got to please him. And I'm not saying that's the case, but yes, we all know Bubba Wallace's team has had some issues on pit road. We get it. It's happened multiple times this year.
They have.
But why are we taking away from a team that is in contention to make the playoffs just to fix a problem?
100%.
To fix somebody else's problem that it's not even nowhere near the hunt. So it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's the right call, or I don't feel like there's any way that they can make this a justifiable decision. So
no, I don't see how they can
I don't
either.
know. I don't know what I would really think about that.
No.
I don't. In some ways, I feel like whatever pit crew you have, you just kind of have to stick with. I don't think you should be able to switch with other teams. Maybe that's where I'm thinking. Maybe it's just, why is there not a rule saying you cannot trade teams, pit crews with other teams? I don't know. Like, I guess I'm just going back and comparing it to like with Formula One, for example. You have two cars that are worked on by the same pit crew. They don't go over there and trade with other people. Like, why is in NASCAR you just get to trade? And like Charlie says, you're taking a pit crew away from somebody that is in contention.
Yeah, contention, buddy.
I'm losing my words here, but you're taking it away from in contention. I don't know where Bubba Wallace has been running half the time these days, because I haven't really been able to watch a whole lot to see where he really is when he's getting all these bad luck mistakes on pit road. But I mean, if he's not anywhere near the front when this is happening, then what's the big deal about it? It's just like, this goes back to like years and years ago when Martin Truex Jr. would always yell at his pit crew all the time. Remember when he was racing with Michael Waltrip in the 56? He was always yelling at his pit crew because they were always doing something wrong.
Oh, and to go back, Austin Dillon's last win was the 2018 Daytona 500. So
yes,
it has been 3.5 years since RCR has won a race.
Until Tyler Reddick.
Until Tyler Reddick won this past weekend.
And by the way, Brian, I'm sorry. I know you're a Hamlin guy. I see your comment right there. I'm not gonna shoot you there, buddy.
That's why I want this left.
I'm not gonna shoot you there, buddy. No, but I like 2311 as well. But I don't understand this. This isn't like Bubba Wallace's team is switching out with Kurt Busch's team. This is a 2311 team going into a Joe Gibbs organization and switching out with one of their pit crews. That's wrong. If it was Kurt Busch and Bubba Wallace, let's give it a shot and see what happens with Kurt Busch. Or if it was a Martin Truex Jr. switching out with the Christopher Bell, I could see that as well.
Honestly, I think I know why.
It's a Toyota thing.
No, it's not a Toyota thing.
What is it, Preston?
I don't know if I should say it, because it's really an uncouth thing to say.
Say it, man.
It's because of his image.
Let's
be real.
Of whose image?
Bubba Wallace's image.
Bubba Wallace's image?
Okay, so it goes back to years ago with the whole Talladega thing. I feel like NASCAR tainted this man's image. I never had a problem with Bubba Wallace. Is he not a good driver at times? Yeah, probably. Let's be real.
All the time.
Doesn't finish that well sometimes. Does he have a win? Of course he does. It was a rain-shortened race. It counts. Let's be real. Anyways, it's his image. I hate to say it like that. And people will probably come back at me and say, oh, you're being racist about it. No, not really.
But
you have to keep this man relevant.
Hello? I agree with you on the image, but I don't blame NASCAR. I do blame NASCAR for not stopping it earlier. But let's face it, Wallace went right along with it, So he played right into everything. It's not just a NASCAR thing. So.
NASCAR is on the move to different pastures. They're trying to welcome more people into the sport, minorities. Daniel Suarez is doing very well as somebody from Mexico. Wallace, insert whatever you would like to call him.
Daniel Suarez won an Xfinity Series championship.
So
Wallace hadn't won crap.
I really think it's his image, and I think it's just they have to keep him relevant. Let's be real. He draws a lot of new fans in. You know how NASCAR was.
Let's face it. Motorsports across the board, it doesn't matter what series, what country, whatever, it is a money thing. And right now, Bubba Wallace brings in money with sponsors and stuff. And that plays right on into today's culture and all that kind of stuff. So, I can't hate him for that by no means, because I get it. I mean, it is what it is, but NASCAR has done its part to make him the villain, but Bubba Wallace has brought it on himself at the same time. So,
Well, here's the second part to that question. Do you think the switching of the pit crews will help Bubba Wallace's performance on the track?
On the track? No.
On the track. Because
this
that
is a
doesn't
totally
change,
different game.
it doesn't change his driving style. That might gain him a few positions on pit road.
Yeah.
But who's to say he's not going to lose more?
He just turned right back around and lose it. Now, he's had a couple of good runs this year.
We've all seen pit
has.
crews struggle all season long with loose wheels and stuff like that. It's not like it's anything new.
Yeah, it's a new car. It's a new wheel. I mean, it's a totally different choreograph than 5 off, 5 on. You're doing 1 off, 1 on, and
he just needs to show it what he can track.
And let's face it, they're doing this going into Atlanta, where it's pretty much a 1.5 mile super speedway now.
That's true.
So are we doing this to try and get Bubba Wallace a win? You know, because I mean he ran good in Atlanta earlier this year, but
we didn't see much passing in Atlanta in the spring. Do you guys remember a lot of passing in Atlanta in the spring?
I
don't.
Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent race. I just don't like, I feel like they should definitely go into Atlanta in the fall. And we said this on the previous episode too, on the episode right after the Atlanta race. They should go into Atlanta this Sunday with a completely different package, where they made it the tall spoilers and all that for this week or for the spring race. The summer race should be the exact opposite. It should be high horsepower, low downforce.
Yeah, I think we're going to see something different coming up
I don't
here.
really remember much about the race from earlier this year. I think it just kind of went as what I thought it would go.
Right.
It was kind of stacked.
It was pack racing. It was pack racing.
It almost kind of reminds you of like when they came up with that package for the All-Star race at Charlotte like years ago.
That was
like
that was exactly like that. They put restrictor plates on Charlotte and it was just like that.
Yeah.
But 2 comments here I wanted to tell you guys about. One, Brian said, depending on where he parks in beer league hockey, it depends on how he plays. So it could play a part in that. I mean, you and I are hockey players there, Preston. I mean, where you park,
Brian should come to Talladega with us.
All right, Brian.
I'm starting to like this cat.
Invitation sent out to you, Brian. If you want to come to Talladega with us, Charlie. Invited you to Talladega.
We got 2 campgrounds, so
we got plenty of room. Preston, if you want to go too, you can.
Okay.
So out there, but one more thing here, Sean Ramsey texted or posted something on here, and he said it is similar. The pit crew switches. It is similar to baseball or any other sport, trading players between teams. Agree or disagree, Preston?
I mean, he's technically right there.
He's technically not wrong there. But doing it mid-season,
I don't know.
I say they trade him, but that's postseason. Like when everything's said and done, then they start trading.
Isn't there a trade?
There's a trade deadline. There's a trade deadline in the middle of the season too.
He makes a good point.
I mean, he doesn't make a bad point. I've just never seen it to where this is the first time.
We're talking about like an entire pit crew, though.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen
1 or 2 players.
Yeah, well, they're not trading an entire pit crew. It's just certain members.
Yeah, but I mean, he makes a good point there. But I have never seen even certain pit crew members traded mid-season between, let's say, a Jeff Gordon and a Dale Earnhardt crew. I have never seen.
I feel like it's come up before. I feel like it's been.
I'm sure it's happened before, but now that it's Bubba Wallace and Joe Gibbs and all the talk on Bubba Wallace's crew over the past few weeks, now it's in the spotlight, and now we're going to see it boil to that's the news.
It goes back to we saw it with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson's team or something like that. It was a whole pit crew, and it was within the Hendrick organization. Regardless if
race teams,
regardless if you're affiliated with Joe Gibbs, this is still 2 separate companies. So that's where I just don't feel like any of this is justifiable.
That's where I feel it's just weird.
Now at the same time, 2311 may actually get their pit crew members from Joe Gibbs, so that could be a part of it. That could throw a kink into it. In which case, I could see where it might be a little more justifiable. But if 2311 actually has their own people, then in no shape, form, or fashion do I see this just being a reasonable move at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that makes perfect sense. I mean,
Right.
now the more that we're talking about it now, it's more like, yeah, I mean, I never thought of where they get their pit crews. It could be from Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Well, I think just like Charlie's point. I mean, the big deal is like when he talks about Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. That's two drivers, two championship-winning caliber drivers. As in, when you come here now, you have Christopher Bell, who's got a chance in playoffs, and then Bubba Wallace, who's like,
Yeah, and that particular race that we're
Like, it's two
referring to
different
for Hendrick, yeah, that particular race that we're referring to with Hendrick, either Jeff, I think it was Jeff Gordon. He was already out of the race whenever they swapped pit crews. Like he was done for the day, and Jimmy Johnson was running bad, or vice versa. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was the 24 crew going to the 48. But it wasn't with both drivers still in the race. Jeff Gordon had already had it. He was DNF for the day, so and it was a one-time thing. So I don't know. That's my take on it. So I'll leave it alone now.
Well, here's what I'm going to say right now. Just looking at the playoff standings here as they ran after Road America, Christopher Bell is on the cut line plus 20 over Kevin Harvick.
Mm-hmm.
Bubba Wallace is currently, as they stand in the playoff standings right now, he's 25th if they didn't have the playoffs, but he's 24th right now in the playoff standings, minus 177 back from the cutoff line.
I wish they'd get rid of the playoffs.
Okay, well, that's a different story, Preston. And that's a different topic. You should have been here during the iceberg episode. We might bring that back there if we have an off weekend. But if the playoffs started today, even with the pit crew change, Bubba Wallace is out.
Yeah. That's why I just don't see this as justifiable.
Right. And now and looking at the stand and then looking at the schedule here, Atlanta, New Hampshire, Pocono, Indianapolis Road Course, Michigan, Richmond, Watkins Glen, and then Daytona, which is a wild card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Atlanta,
7, 8.
Atlanta, New Hampshire, all that. Pit crews matter. I get it. You got another road course. Pit crew, will matter, but it won't matter as much to me as what it does at your New Hampshire and your Atlanta, your smaller tracks there. And I just feel like you're choking the life out of Christopher Bell and anything right there.
Well, you got 8 races left in the playoffs. Not in the playoffs, until the playoffs start in the regular season here, as far as the Cup Series. Will this make a difference? I think we already talked about it, really, in Bubba Wallace's performance in those 8 races to put him into contention. But will this hurt Christopher Bell more, who is, if the playoffs started today, would be in the playoffs, so be it in the 16th seed?
Bubba Wallace has still got to win. He's got to win to get in. But is that what they're trying to do? I mean, are they trying to get Bubba Wallace a win? Maybe. But you're also costing Christopher Bell a chance at pointing his way in, or possibly even winning his way in by doing so. So, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul here.
Did it say how many pit crews members they're changing?
It's 3 or 4. It's at least 3, I believe.
So probably the tire changers and the jackman. If I had to guess, the tire changers and the jackman, or the carriers and the tire changers for that team, because we've seen Bubba Wallace with a few loose wheel issues where Christopher Bell, I don't recall once.
Bubba Wallace probably doesn't make playoffs anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No,
he's not going to make playoffs.
He's got to win to get in at this point. So,
and the only way he can win is probably at Daytona. And he runs well at Daytona. So
he does run well.
So it is possible for Bubba Wallace to make the playoffs at the final race of the regular season. But we're 7 races from that. We still got a long way to go, a lot of miles to cover until we even start talking about who makes the playoffs here and who's going to, and once the playoffs start after Daytona, after we do our wrap up there, we're going to go right into, okay, we have these set of races, who does well or not. But I mean, who's to say Bubba Wallace even makes the playoffs? And this is just a publicity stunt to try to quiet the fans of Bubba Wallace because he's been doing poorly on pit road.
There has been a lot of speculation around him lately.
Who, Bubba Wallace?
Yeah, it's just, I guess people just think he's just got bad luck and he should be winning all the time or something. I don't know.
Right,
It's just bad luck. I mean, I don't tell you.
You're not entitled to anything in
It
NASCAR.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, pit road incidents happen all the time. Jimmy Johnson in his rookie season in 2002 lost to Coca-Cola 600. He was dominating that race. Pit road. It wasn't the fault of the pit crew, but it was the fault of the driver. You lost it there. You win and lose races on pit roads. We've seen it all the time. We saw it a couple weeks ago when Kyle Busch decided to pit and for 2 tires. I mean, just because
I'm just saying we've had so many pit road incidents this season because of the whole new wheel system. So I mean, it's
but after NBC explained it, this is a pit crew thing. It's not a single lug nut thing.
So
it has nothing to do with the single lug nut.
It's just it happens. It's been happening all season. So I guess we gotta wait and see how it plays out. Who knows? Who really cares? I know I don't. But we'll also go make playoffs. So
no, I don't think he will either. I think to your guys' point, this is a stunt to try to maybe quiet the fans of Bubba Wallace. Of like, hey, look, we're gonna make a change. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, we tried.
Right.
And we can wipe our hands of this. But Denny Hamlin did bring up a good point there. He did talk to Bob Podcrest. I'll try to bring it up here, saying that Bubba Wallace can't embarrass the team. He had an incident there trying to run Joey Logano off the road. Joey Logano didn't get touched by Wallace and ran off the road anyway. Now, Charlie, I know you don't like either of those drivers, but did Denny Hamlin bring up a point? Denny Hamlin got out of the car. He's still wearing his race suit, took off his driver hat, put on his team owner hat, and said, I'll try to find the video here real quick so we could play a clip for it. But do you think Bubba Wallace is kind of embarrassing the team here as far as 2311 racing?
Yeah, I mean, because he's even come over to radio. He's like, don't effing talk to me the rest of the race and stuff like that. Like, grow up. Like, you don't hear that type of conversations between Kyle Larson and Cliff Daniels. You have Cliff Daniels there trying to coach Kyle Larson, pep him up, or vice versa. I mean, Kyle Larson's like, you know what, guys, that was a bad stop, whatever. But man, the moment something goes south, it's like Bubba's done for today. So
he lets it get to him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he lets it get to him, and I get it, man. Everybody's gonna get mad with their pit crews at some point in time. I get mad with Austin all the time. He sucks at it sometimes. So it is what it is. But I don't come over to the radio and say, "Hey, stupid,
liar."
Just put the headset down.
Liar.
What did I say?
You have came over the radio several times and cussed like a dog.
Not at you, though.
Who's you cussing at?
The freaking people
the squirrel hanging out in the oak tree off of turn 4?
Track officials.
Well,
especially when I got put to the back that night.
Well, luckily I was.
We all listened to the video footage on that one.
I do recall that one, but here I want you guys to listen to what Bob Podcrest says right here. Or this is what Denny Hamlin said to Bob Podcrest. I want you guys to hear it here. It's just a quick 10-second clip, and I want you guys to hear it and get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, you can't embarrass the race team. That's for sure. So I think he knows where we stand on it.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was it. That was
Denny Hamlin.
That was Denny Hamlin said drivers can't embarrass a race team, and hopefully Bubba Wallace continues to get better with his in-car audio comments to his team. Now, this could be the precursor and the pivotal point to switching over the thing because, Charlie and Austin were just talking about it. You get mad at each other. You
got to keep them calm.
You need a scapegoat.
They got to keep them calm.
The easiest thing to do is to blame the team.
The easiest thing to do in life, period, is to blame somebody else.
Right. That is 100%
so,
true.
And it goes right back into, at some point in time, Wallace has to take responsibility for his actions. And I think maybe what Denny Hamlin was saying there or somebody else, it's high time that he does that. Like, hey, regardless if the pit crew didn't do their job, you're still sucking on the track. So,
right.
Is this a team thing or is this a pit crew thing? Because you can't just blame it on us every week because you're not running up front, because there's races to where they've had great days on pit road.
Right.
and he still sucked. So,
Or are they changing pit crew members because Bubba Wallace did talk to him the way they did, and they went to Denny Hamlin or whoever and said, "Hey, I'm not working for this cat. I'm going somewhere else.
I'm tired of being talked to like that."
And then they went to Christopher Bell and said, "Hey, you got 4 guys, I got 4 guys. Let's switch."
Well, and
oh, that could be a good point.
And that's a very good point that we're not even looking at right now. Austin, good call on that. Could they be?
I'll go ahead and tell you, if Charlie comes over the radio and cusses at me, I'm turning the damn radio and getting off the trailer.
Right? Who's to say?
I ain't putting up with it.
At what point does a driver take responsibility? The driver is the captain of the team. You want to look at it. You think race team, you think driver. You don't think jackman, tire changers, gas man, or any of that. Or
you think crew chief and driver.
Right. You think of the 2 most visible members of that team, which is the crew chief and driver.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a quarterback and a running back, and then the pit crew's the lineman.
Right. And I remember one year when it was Alabama, and it was I think it was A.J. McCarron.
A roll tide.
A roll tide, yeah. Roll tide. But they were talking, they were in the it was a Notre Dame game. It was a Notre Dame championship. And and McCarron got mad at the center, and the center pushed McCarron.
They were also roommates.
They were also, but it was on the field, and it was like, hey man, let me do my job, I'll do your job. And I think it's any aspect in life, whether it's the fire service for me and Preston or anything else, the military for Charlie, I was in the military, you keep constantly getting berated for mistakes, and mistakes happen, but you're not going to get any better if I come on the radio. If I'm on the fire ground with Preston and I'm yelling at him constantly, like, you need to do better in front of everybody, eventually he's going to say, the hell with Beamer. I don't want to
burn up and die.
Well, maybe not that.
See if I walk out with him next time.
But would it be better for Bubba Wallace, instead of berating these guys and saying, shut up on the radio to Booty Barker, his crew chief, we're trying to help you, bud.
God, man, you're telling Booty Barker to shut up. Boy, that's a whole nother level right there.
But instead of saying that, how about taking a piece of humble pie, getting off the pit road, like, hey guys, we'll fix it up next stop. I'll make it back up on track.
We'll bounce back.
Back.
You can only bash them so far or so long before they're well, man, no matter if we do have a good pit stop, he's going to find something wrong with it because he's not running his part on the track. So, but that also goes into driver crew chief relationships, man.
And Booty's new to 311.
Yeah, if there's no mutual respect there, then they're not going to go anywhere. And I feel like, Booty Barker's been around for a long time, so
yes,
he knows his stuff, and I feel like I hate to go back to the Kyle Larson, Cliff Daniels thing, but they coach each other up, but that's not happening on the 23 team at all.
And I'm sure there's been incidences in the past, and I'm going to take Jimmy Johnson, for example, because he's probably the one that I've watched ever since I started watching NASCAR and seeing him develop in his career, where there have been incidences on pit road, but I have never once, to my knowledge, I don't know if anybody out there watching or listening has had firsthand account of listening to a scanner saying, you guys need to step it up. I've heard it from Tony Stewart saying we need to step it up, but he's a team owner and driver.
Yep.
Bubba Wallace is saying, pretty much throwing these guys under the bus, man, if we had better pit stops, we could do it. But man,
would you though?
Would Bubba Wallace be a winner this season if it wasn't for the pit crew? Maybe. He ran well in Nashville. And he had a shot, I feel. He lost a lot of time on pit road every stop. Whether it be one thing or another. Could it be equipment? Could it be something? And Sean said, if Denny wants the race team to be successful, he needs to make a change at the end of the year. I agree.
Mm.
You fix it at the end of the season, or fix it before the playoffs at least. Yeah. But there's no way, there's no reason for me to hear a driver. I would get out of the car and be like, we need to fix this. Let's go back to the shop Monday. I'll drive.
Team meeting.
A team meeting. Team meeting, 100%.
I mean, I'm sure they have team meetings every week. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, is Bubba Wallace in the team meeting bashing the pit crew? It's like, I'd be winning races if it wasn't for these 5 guys over the wall, 6 guys over the wall.
I could see Bubba kind of being like that. Probably not throwing them completely under the bus
No,
in their face, but probably be like, hey, yo.
I have a feeling Bubba Wallace is throwing them completely under the bus, saying the reason I'm not doing well is because of you guys.
that's tough, dude. That's tough.
But I mean, I could see that. And if Bubba Wallace is listening, take a slice of humble pie. I mean, I get it. I mean, I had to do a lot of growing up too, and Bubba Wallace seems to be having to do a lot of growing up as well, because there's no way you could say this is the one thing. And if it wasn't for this aspect, I'd be doing well. When it's a complete team sport, this is a team sport.
Yeah, it's not just the drivers. It's not just the crew chiefs.
Right.
It's a combination of everything. It's the combination of the
100%.
guys back at the shop.
Yep.
The pit crews, the crew chief, the driver, and then circumstances throughout the race. I mean, it's in auto sport racing or motorsport racing in general.
Yeah.
Across the board, you have to have luck on your side. So
not only luck, you just need to execute every week. Even if I like to say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It was a big saying in the Marine Corps. Eventually you become proficient. Now at this point in this season, I feel like proficiency, every crew on that team and on all the teams should be pretty proficient in changing tires and filling up the car at 18 races into the season.
Of course, because you're practicing every week too.
You're practicing every week, and you're doing it every race weekend. But now we're seeing it to where Bubba Wallace needs a scapegoat. He's probably got pressure from his fans. He's probably putting a lot of pressure on himself throughout the course of the year, because he won a race. And why isn't he winning more races in this team? Kurt Busch has a race win. Why doesn't Bubba Wallace have a race win? So now he's got to find a reason why he's not doing well.
He's got to have a scapegoat.
And the pit crew is the easy out.
It is. It's the easiest target, especially when they have had some bad issues. But, just because they had bad issues one race, you can't show up to the next race and just automatically start blaming the pit crew. At some point in time, they're going to quit giving a crap.
I mean, I'll say it now, and I hope I'm wrong, but I mean, who's he going to blame when he's not running well here in 5 weeks anyways? So
right, if he switches with Christopher Bell and starts running even worse, or if not,
I hope I'm wrong, but
worse.
God,
I hope you're right. I hope he does switch pit crews and starts running even worse, because it's going to be there's his slice of humble pie he needs to eat.
Just going to expose him even more.
Right, it's going to expose him even more. And Bubba Wallace, and Preston and I have talked about it. Every driver in the Cup Series deserves to be there. For a reason, one way or another, they have talent to be in the Cup Series.
Yeah.
Or a daddy with a big old checkbook.
But Bubba Wallace doesn't have daddy with the big old check.
Yeah, his daddy went and got milk and never come back.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow, it got quiet, didn't it, guys? Anyways,
I hear the crickets chirping out of my window over here.
Anyways, moving on.
I think my neighbor's checking his mail.
Hey guys,
so,
we're moving on to the race of the week here.
Dang.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that, Charlie.
It just came out,
Why would you do that?
Too many bush lights.
There's plenty of people's daddies that went and got milk and never come back. Not just.
I've thought about leaving to go get milk.
Yeah, I mean he's got 2 of them, but Kaylin knows he'd be done come to my house, and I don't want her showing up at my house. Not again. Not for that reason.
Let the record show that was completely 100% Charlie Hercus. That was nobody else on the show. I'm not bringing anything in here. I just was talking about his on track.
Yeah, he has no pit crew to blame. It was all solely Charlie Hercus.
Anyways,
can't blame pit crew. Can't blame daddy. You can't blame anything other than himself at some point in time.
Somewhere down the road, Charlie Hercus is going to get a random phone call from his superior going, "You need to see me in my office."
Yeah.
And you're in big trouble, dude. And I'm just saying, man, there's no way I can edit that out because we're live. I can't.
It happens. There's been way worse things said on radio before. If it'd make everybody feel better, tomorrow night I'll go to sensitivity training.
I mean, he's technically right. I mean, we're not really sponsored. He doesn't really have to worry about anything.
There's no way we're going to get sponsored
Now we're not going to get
like
sponsored.
that. Great job. I can't believe you just did that, Charlie. Holy
Guys, this will be my last episode with rambling about racing.
Hey, guess what? Now we have to make a change.
Yeah, I mean,
I just wanted to bring into the spotlight how easy it is to blame everybody, and so now I'm taking responsibility. I'm eating that humble pie. Just people need to take pages out of my old playbooks. All I know to say.
oh my gosh.
Charlie Hercus will have to have a meeting with the ITM media personnel
Via
Zoom.
Send Charlie Hercus to the ITM media trailer after the podcast, please. Thank you.
It won't be the first time I've ever gotten called to the tower, so
Not this one, dude. I can't believe you just did.
No, we've made several trips to the tower.
oh yeah.
Especially, I think we've held hands a couple times going up there.
Brian made
Skipping and dancing.
We skipped across the front stretch one time.
We have.
Brian said it the best. He said mid-season changes on the podcast. Like, Charlie, you just might need to take a break here from the show here. I don't know what brought that up. Holy cow! Now, guess what? People are going to start sharing this. We're going to be on Sirius XM.
And guess what? Yeah, that's right. One way or another, we're making it.
We're going to get famous now.
I just put us on the big time.
One day we'll be thanking Charlie for this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean,
all of our rants are finally going to pay off.
Maybe. I'm not going to bet the farm on that. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't.
When'd you get a farm?
I don't know, Charlie. I'm still kind of blown away by that. Race of the weekend for everybody, and then we'll get into our upcoming schedule here. Oh my gosh, Preston, what about you?
Formula One.
Thank you. I'm afraid to ask.
NASCAR should never have gone to Road America. Daytona should be back in the middle of the season, and Indy Road Course should be no longer.
Yeah,
I like the fact that Daytona's the last race for the playoffs. I feel like the Pepsi 400 or whatever had kind of lost its luster for the middle of the season. So
not so. I kind of agree with my brother on this one. It really was Board America. I mean, it was not a great race at all. So if NASCAR were to come to me and say, "Hey, we'll get rid of stage racing for one type of track, what will it be?" I'll say, okay, then get rid of stage racing on road courses because it drags everything way out. I mean, you want to talk about dragging stage racing out at regular tracks? When you talk about road courses, my God, they drag it out. It's so dry. It's awful. It's ridiculous. Why do we need stage racing out of road course? It just makes it so much longer and worse. That's my opinion. That's the one way I'd get rid of it.
All right, Austin, what about you? Race of the weekend for you?
Oh, definitely Formula One. I'm not even a Formula One diehard fan like Preston, but I enjoyed watching the race. So I'm going to
burned out right now.
I'm so disgusted of what just happened there.
He's bamboozled.
I am so sorry. I have worked for 3 years to try to build this brand up.
It's been destroyed in 10 seconds.
I just helped you out tremendously.
Either you helped me out.
It just kind of come out. Let the record show.
There's always a positive to a negative. So we'll see if that statement's true.
I'm not a racist guy. In no shape, form, or fashion was that meant that way. It was kind of it was a joke, but I guess everybody's going to take it the wrong way now, just like society does everything nowadays.
Hey, Matt, just click that button where it meets his mic so he can't talk.
There was no way I could take that rag. Once you fire a round from a rifle, it's gone. It's downrange, man. Race of the weekend for me was Formula One. Gosh darn it, Charlie.
Ramble about racing. One episode, Pam.
Right down.
It's been more like rambling about racing. Whoop. And now we'll see how next week's goes. We might be back down here. But hey, it is what it is. But you gotta go with the flow sometimes. But anyway, race of the week for me. I didn't get to watch all the F1 race, but I did watch all the NASCAR races. So I gotta go with the truck series this weekend. I know they didn't run, but that was by far the best race. So
Charlie's taking the show that I've worked on hard on.
I mean, okay, so I understand that he didn't. I mean, that kind of the comment was out there, but I mean, some people still might come back and yell at all of us for being racist because all we do is hate on Bubba Wallace all day, but we were just really calling out for the awful driver that he is half the time. So, I mean, hey, just like with
We were more so talking about his pit crew, and Sean brought up a good point. I mean, we have to make another name change again, have to rebrand
but let's be
again.
real. We would have come all the way back around the carousel and still say Bubba Wallace is a bad driver.
Yeah.
Well, he is a bad driver,
Let's
but
be real.
Charlie didn't have to make it like hit below the belt there. Holy cow, man.
Jeez.
Holy cow.
Yes. No, F1 is definitely the race of the weekend for everybody, I feel. So
Yeah, race of the weekend for me was definitely Formula One, and that's by kind of default there. That was the only race I watched from start to finish.
Sean says you're making another change to the podcast.
Yeah,
huh?
I just said that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part. I'm sorry. I'm looking at other things.
Quit looking at the comments, man.
It's fun to look at the comments, but I also
I appreciate
And
it.
when you read the comments, that's when you get your feelings hurt.
already.
Well, dadgummit, now I just got kicked in the balls, I feel. Anyway,
That is so disgusting, right?
upcoming
He'll
races-
let you
that's a lie. We all know Caroline has those in the house with her.
in the purse hanging up on the little rack.
Yeah.
They're out of harm's way. Preston's thinking about coming to Talladega with us now.
Oh man, this is
He's
gold.
really rethinking it. He's like, man, I should go to Talladega with these guys now.
Not happy about that, but I mean, it's our show. I mean, like you guys said, we're not sponsored by anybody.
Like it or not, people have to deal with us. If they want to keep watching us, hey, keep watching us. If you don't,
We've been sticking good with 4 or now 3 followers. I mean, it's
They'll be
awesome.
watching. They'll be watching y'all from here on out. I'm officially fired. He hasn't
No.
come out and said it because he doesn't want to say it on live. But I'm gonna get a phone call after the show. Hey,
make a press release
yeah.
after the show and do that. But anyway, upcoming races for this weekend: the Truck Series back in action at Mid Ohio Sports Car Course Saturday, July 9th at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on FS1. From Atlanta, Saturday, the Xfinity and Cup Series will be racing Saturday, July 9th for the Xfinity Series at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA, and that is from Atlanta. Cup Series July 10th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA. That is Atlanta as well.
I'm so tired of these late starts.
That you should have been here with us for the iceberg episode there.
I know, I should have. Boy, I would have been able to lay right into it there.
Formula One from Austria, July 10th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think it came on NBC this last time.
No, it's usually on ESPN or ABC.
In ESPN or ABC, check your local listings for that one. And Ramsey saying Charlie got mad, all flustered. Like, yeah, I am all flustered. That
He's very flustered.
just kicked me right in the balls there, Charlie. I mean, my
Let's
goodness.
take balls on air.
I could say whatever I want because you can say whatever you want. My goodness, dude.
Well, you can't hate me if you're just going to turn around and say whatever you want to say.
Touche, man. Is there an SRX race coming up
Yes, Nashville this weekend.
here? Nashville this weekend from the Nashville Fairgrounds. That's going to be
Pretty sure it's Nashville.
Yes, Nashville.
that's going to be Saturday. So on CBS. So check your local listings for that. We got all. So we're going to leave it up to Preston here. Winners for the truck race, Xfinity race, Cup race, Formula One race, and SRX race. Go. And
Truck race, Zane Smith, Xfinity, Noah Gregson. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up there.
everybody picks Noah Gregson.
I
think he's such a prick.
I think he's a prick too. Let's be real.
Oh.
I think he is a prick, but I'll just say Noah Gregson for the
Or
fun.
does he just call it how it is sometimes, and everybody hates
Yeah,
it?
he has no filter. If it's on his mind, he's gonna say it.
For the Cup Series, oh boy,
About like Charlie.
I don't know for Cup Series really. Maybe Kyle Larson again. I don't know. Kyle Larson. I'll say Kyle Larson. Whatever. As far as Formula One goes, I'd probably venture to say Carlos Sainz again.
All right, good picks.
I don't think Red Bull dominates at Austria like they usually do, or they claim to do.
All right.
I don't know about SRX. I don't really know who half the field is.
All right. Well, what about you, Charlie?
Truck series, John Hunter Nemechek. Cup series. I'm gonna go with. It's a tough call there. I'll go with Eric Jones. It is a restricted plate style race now. So I'll go with Eric Jones on that one. F1, Verstappen rebounds from a 7th place finish. I mean, he was having a good race this past weekend until some mechanical issues, if that's what you want to call it, kind of took him out of contention. So he rebounds. Xfinity is at Atlanta also. I'll go with Creed.
All right, Austin.
You didn't pick SRX.
SRX.
Oh, SRX. I'm sorry. They're at Nashville. I'll say Newman goes back to back.
All right. What about you, Austin?
Truck race, Zane Smith, Xfinity, Gregson, Cup. I'm gonna go with Ryan Blaney. Formula One, Verstappen, and then SRX. I'm gonna say Newman gets it done again, back to back.
All right, Formula One for me. Leclerc.
Ooh, good pick.
Leclerc will get it done there in Austria, even though it's the Red Bull ring.
I think it's going to be. I think it's safe to say Ferrari. Honestly, either one.
It would be safe to say Ferrari, but it kind of.
I think Haas wins it.
I'm feeling.
Oh boy!
Well, actually now,
that'd be awesome.
I'm going to change my pick. Can I do that? I can change my pick.
Change your pick. Yeah, go ahead.
Sergio Perez. He's been running so well this season. Sergio Perez gets it done in Austria for the Red Bull at the Red Bull ring.
Okay.
Sergio Perez gets it done in the Red Bull ring. Ben Rhodes for the Cup or Truck Series. For the Cup Series, it's Atlanta, so I mean Brandon Jones. I'm gonna pick Brandon Jones.
You mean Xfinity Series?
Xfinity Series. What did I say?
Well,
You said Cup.
But when you said
But
Brandon,
we can say whatever we want to on air now. So
Yeah,
you know what?
whatever.
Brandon Jones is going to win the Cup Series race.
No. And for the Cup Series race, I think Kyle Busch gets it done.
Yeah.
At Atlanta this weekend.
And they still don't extend his contract even after he wins.
SRX, Kenseth.
ooh,
Kenseth gets it done.
Is he running this race?
He is running this weekend.
Or I would have said either Newman or Biff.
ooh,
Hey,
I'm gonna-
it's been running pretty good.
Biff has been running pretty good.
But
So
I think Kenseth.
I'm going
just-
with the Biff.
Now, I mean,
Pick.
Andretti ran pretty good this past weekend too, till Ryan said, "Move, get out the way. I'm going to win this race." So,
well, I mean, I think we could see anything that happened. We actually saw a good race there in the SRX series a couple of weeks ago. I mean, every race in the SRX series is good, but that was our race picks and race previews. We definitely recap them after next week, maybe with or without Charlie.
I'll mail you your mic and stuff back this coming week.
So the speculation grows. This is all just a media.
I already know I'm getting fired. So
This is a social media ploy.
Well, if you can't,
he's not coming to the race July 23rd, so you can count that out.
yeah.
I might,
Matter of fact, I might not even be there.
I might just say, hey, I'll spend time with my mom and dad with my daughter there in Alabama. Because, oh my gosh.
Fire up the rumor mill. Boys, we're going to be famous this week.
Right. I don't know. I don't know.
And the silly season begins.
I don't know exactly how to take what just happened there. I'm still flabbergasted.
I just think you're over.
That's like
you're worrying way too much about it.
he's going to be staring at the ceiling all night long.
Do you want me to walk with you to the ITM trailer after this, or do you want to go by yourself? I'll go with you if you want me to.
He's
He's going to have Austin's going to have to. He's technically Charlie's handler. Remember?
Well,
I'm gonna go get Cooper's dog leash, and I'll hook it behind you so you don't run off too far.
Oh my gosh, I still can't believe that just happened. Gentlemen, anything else before we get into our final thoughts here?
No, I'm good. Maybe
good.
I'll still be employed.
Maybe.
I'm already on the verge of losing one job. I don't need to lose two.
This isn't even a job. This is a hobby. That's even what's worse. But gentlemen, anything
You
else?
can't get fired from a hobby.
Some changes might.
Oh, no. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. You just wait, Charlie. What if we get approached and we get approached by sponsors and they're like, hey, you guys are getting promoted to the big times, but a guy, Charlie Hercus, on the show.
Name change.
Of him.
You mean Charles? He goes by Charles Hercus now.
No.
I'm now Chuck Harold.
I've lost complete control of the show. Oh boy. Okay, so anything else? We're gonna get into our final thoughts, wrap up the show. Anything else from anybody?
No.
No, I'm good.
Right. Chuck Harold's good. Let's go to final thoughts.
White flag. One lap to go. One lap, Raider.
All right, final thoughts here with Rambling About Racing. If you showed up to this point of the show, whether you're on your Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube Live,
if you just showed up, guys, you've missed one heck of a show. This has been a great episode. However, you missed the majority of it, and we are now moving into our final thoughts.
There's no way I could edit that and make it sound natural, because then everybody else would be like, "What the heck was said?" There's no way I could take everything off. I mean, it is what it is. And let's bring in.
It's gonna be fine. Stop worrying.
Well, Brian said, let's bring in Stone as a guest speaker.
Okay.
You have talked about bringing in other people on the show.
And I mean, this might be just. Oh my god, I just can't believe you.
Matt's not going to sleep tonight. He ain't going to go to sleep tonight.
Caroline's gonna be like, "What happened last night?" I'm like, "I don't want to talk about
Matt's
it."
gonna be so traumatized.
It was so bad.
Just call your boo tomorrow. He'll explain everything.
Yeah, just call Charlie on the way to work, Caroline, and you'll see everything. Needless to say, we might not bring our media equipment there for Charlie. We might go to like someone else. Like, hey man, can we follow you around, Matt Beamer?
Yeah, you can get Mushmouth on there.
But see, here's the problem. If we pull up the Rambling About Racing, I'm like, I don't want to touch you. You're kryptonite. You're toxic.
Right.
You know, it's like
You can see me spank his butt during the race.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Okay, so this is the point in the show where we get in. If this is your first time listening, and probably your only time listening, thanks to Charlie's comments, this is where we get into our This Week in NASCAR, our fantasy standings, and our question of the week this week. And I'm going to start off with our This Week in NASCAR. We go back to July 4th, 1963. Fireball Roberts swoops under Fred Lorenzen on the final lap to win the Fanatic Firecracker 400 at Daytona. Roberts edges Lorenzen and Marvin Patch, or Pinch, Panch, P-A-N-C-H.
Panch?
In a 3-car finish. The lead changes hands 39 times among 6 drivers, and that was July 4th, 1963. At Daytona for the Firecracker 400. And now we get into, he's saying James would be a good guest on the show. We might need to do a floater guest.
I can be James.
Nah.
Chuck James.
Honestly, Maples probably would have said the same thing that Charlie did.
Well, okay. Well,
I'm not trying to throw him under the bus.
Okay,
but Maples got some jokes too.
I'm gonna say this. I mean, oh my god, I don't even know what
Maples
to say.
Maples be good.
We'll bring Leo on.
You know what? Charlie's there sitting there in Alabama going, did I just ruin my potential career?
No, he's not.
What career? I don't get paid for this.
Not yet.
If I remember right, I've bought you and Austin Talladega tickets already.
So you bought us Talladega tickets.
We haven't paid you for it yet.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Brian also said the show's in shambles. I'd have to agree with him.
Hey, it is what it is sometimes.
Luckily, it happened at the 3/4 mark and not at the start. If that happened at the start, I'd just be like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know what to do.
I think the show overall has been pretty funny.
No, it's been a great show.
It's been the best episode yet.
Oh, yeah. I'd have to agree with that, especially. Well, we're just going to have to sit. So if y'all see a guy, looks like Charlie with a wig on next week, it's not Charlie. It's Chuck.
It's not Charlie.
It's Chuck.
Hi.
I think you should show up with a wig next week.
I'm going to be the first female analyst on the show.
Well, it's 2022, so nobody can judge you for it.
Charlie, Preston, or Austin, can you read the fantasy on Road America, please? Oh my gosh, I've lost control.
You want me to read the fantasy? I'll read the fantasy. So, number 1 in your hearts, number 1 on the show, and number 1 in the fantasy standings is yours truly, Chuck 8384 with 3,304 points. Matt Camper is second with 3,182. S Blades in third with 3,100. SMR&D with 3,089 points in fourth. Our Chevrolet representative in the manufacturer's hunt, plus fifth in the standings, is Super Sumo 32 with 3,086 points. He's only 3 points shy of being in the fourth place. So, sixth place, SMR Operations with 3,035. Seventh is my lovely co-host, Matt, sitting in at 2,818 points. Eighth place is our Ford representative, Smoking Woody, with 2,677. Toyota is in ninth with Summers Racing, 2,184. B93 is rounding out our top 10 with 2,176 points. And that,
Thank you, Charlie.
my favorite fans of the show, is your weekly fantasy update. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Really do appreciate that. And Preston, since you're this, I'm going to throw this on you. Last minute question of the week that we're going to answer next week.
Oh man!
I mean,
I knew the all man was coming.
You got to have something, man.
I don't have anything.
Does anybody have a question of the week?
Preston, you're going to have to start bringing more to the show than just F1 stats.
Question of the week.
Especially since Charlie's going to be probably exiting this show.
Question of the week. Does Charlie Hercus make an appearance on next week's podcast?
We're going to be famous now. People are going to tune in next week and wonder if Charlie's really going to be here or not.
It's like, well, they're going to quit tuning in. Bring Charlie back or we're boycotting the show.
Boycotting what? We don't have that many followers, man. This is the longest.
Next week we will.
Actually, let me tell you something. This is the longest that anybody's tuned in. We've had 4.
Because they're wondering, what will Charlie Hercus say next?
I don't want to.
And Brian, you can comment and say, you know what? Charlie's right. Like I've watched the show because I just don't know what is going to happen next. Like I have loved.
That might be it. That might be the X factor we've been looking for, Preston.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I've always wondered if everybody would ever tune in.
I tell you what, can't have nothing. I try to bring some flavor and some spice to the show, and I get ridiculed for it.
Actually, Sean Ramsey said if Charlie isn't here, boycotts a show. So,
Austin, he's got to stay.
Yeah. I'm here for the long haul, baby.
He's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. See you in Dega.
Charlie Hercus out.
Yeah,
all right.
Signing out.
Wow, and Brian said Charlie must be hurting from carrying us all night.
Oh
yeah, look, my back. Brian, my back is killing me. It's rough, man. That's why I ain't got no hair. I carried them on the back, and they just kept falling off and taking handfuls of hair with them.
Oh,
it's ridiculous, man. I tell you, can't have nothing.
I have a feeling I'm going to do very little editing this episode. Just master it and send it out. Just send it out. Just add in the ad reads.
Just take the chance and just send it.
Right. Just take the chance and go, man.
I'll probably get I'm so happy that the majority of the people I work with don't know that I do this. Because I would. I'd get a phone call tomorrow, probably like, "Hey, Sergeant Hercus, you need to come in and we need to have a chit chat." And I'm like, "You might as well just go ahead and fire me because I ain't coming."
Actually, don't even worry about burning the gas to come over here because gas is high. We'll tell you over the phone.
Here's
your DD 214. Thank you for your service.
Have a great life.
Good luck. Hopefully that works out for you because everything else isn't doing so hot for you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so our question of the week, and I think we kind of answered it. But
I'll go ahead and answer it. Like I'll see y'all after Atlanta.
Our question of the week this week, and I think we kind of answered it earlier in the show with the whole when I brought up them playing replays about drivers and what they could appear to be maybe a fatal accident. Would it be uncouth if a driver driver status was unknown to show replays of the accident? Like
Charlie, don't answer that.
Charlie,
That's a
don't
good
answer it,
one.
but I think we kind of answered it, but we could go into more detail, I feel.
Probably.
But we see it in NASCAR and IndyCar, but we don't see it in Formula One. Is it uncouth for networks to show replays of what could potentially be a fatal accident on live TV until we know the status of the driver? And that's your question of the week. So does anybody else have anything before we wrap up the show, Preston? I'll start off with you.
No, I've got nothing.
All right.
Nothing.
What about you there, Charlie? Do you have anything?
It's the Law and Order. Bum.
You know what I heard? I just
Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun,
I was trying to play. The bum bum.
dun, 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 dun,
That's what I heard.
dun.
Well, who else here by show of hands heard?
I mean, it was just a bunch of.
I'm sorry. Maybe I held it too close to the
Try
mic, but
Charlie,
no,
you-
man, I don't have anything else. It's been a fun episode. I can't wait to see y'all after Atlanta.
Tune in next week for the trial of Charlie Hercus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it will
I'm
be.
fixing to-
It will be live stream. By the way, it'd be like, you know what, Your Honor, I plead insanity.
Oh my
Matt'll have
gosh.
his briefcase ready and everything.
Yep.
I don't know what I'll have. I just don't know.
Yeah,
Emma. Next episode, Emma will be my lawyer. She will defend me in my trial.
His 7-year-old. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. You should be like, Daddy did nothing wrong. You'd be like, okay.
Yep.
But no, I'm
my
fixing-
daddy is my hero. He did nothing wrong.
I'm good. I'm fixing to get my
Thank you,
tennis
Austin.
shoes. I'm fixing to get my tennis shoes and grab my truck keys and go to Kinston, Alabama, pick up Charlie, and we're going to the ITM
Yep.
trailer.
Yeah, make sure to show up tomorrow at 8 a.m. We got
And just for the record, this isn't the first time I've had to walk with Charlie anywhere after a race or something bad he's done. So I'm used to it. I know the way. So nothing bad will happen.
Yeah, I mean they fully expect. I mean, it happens, man. It's part of life.
Well, here's them two coming up the track again. When am I going to complain about that?
Like I've been told before, hey man, you can't come back until you go talk to the so and so at the track there. Why? What did I got to say? That was my. Well, I said some other words too,
right.
but anyways, I went and talked to him, and I'm racing this weekend. So y'all be sure to tune in if it's live stream.
We'll make sure to share it.
Yeah, and then next weekend, the next race at the 23rd, it's going to be live stream. Like we're going to figure out how to make my
We've had a few
GoPro.
beers tonight, obviously.
True.
I really hadn't. I hadn't had that many, but anyway, not as many as usual. But
Okay.
the 23rd, we're going to figure out how to make my GoPro live stream. It'd be fun.
That would be more fun. Make sure to do it to the YouTube channel. We'll send it to our Patreon. So if you want to see that, join our Patreon and you can.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to record the communication between me and you.
Yeah, the 23rd, Charlie Hercus will be all mic'd up.
I would say it would be easier with sponsors that give us money for that, but now I don't know.
Yeah, because that little recording thing's like $300 almost.
But it works. So anybody out there wants to send us $300, we can make it happen, Captain.
Yeah. Hey, you'll get full, non-filtered audio from the 83 car.
Just like the podcast.
And
It's
it-
not
and
podcast.
We don't get bad unless somebody doors us going into one, and then it's like the gates open, and it's not good.
All right. Well, Preston, do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Charlie, you have anything else?
No, I'm good, buddy.
And Austin, do you have anything else?
No, sure, I'm good.
All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here on this episode of Rambling About Racing. Thank you so much for tuning in to us this week, whether you're on your regular podcast platform, B.U.R.N.S Radio, or on any of our live streaming platforms, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Really do appreciate it. Special shout out to our partners so far in the show, Stand Up to Cancer and Fanatics, for all they do, not only for us here at Rambling About Racing, but for what they do on B.U.R.N.S Radio as well. And we'll definitely see you guys after Atlanta. If you haven't already, follow Rambling About Racing on all social media platforms. All those could be found at ramblingaboutracing.com. For Charlie Hercus, Truck8384, Preston Lood, P_Lula, Austin Reeves, Austin_Reeves 6. I'm Matt Beamer, Beamer22 on Twitter. Stay safe and have a good rest of the week.